What's up, everybody? Welcome to Championship Weekend. You're watching the OUA Basketball Show. My name is Griffin Porter. Critelli Cup and Wilson Cup will be decided in just a few hours, folks. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop anticipating it. My heart rate has been through the roof. And when you have to recover from a high stress event, such as thinking about Championship Weekend, there's nobody better to turn to than BioSteel. BioSteel is redefining sports hydration, and as the official hydration partner of the OUA, they're supporting the next generation of Canadian athletes. Their zero sugar, high quality products help athletes perform at their best. Make sure you check out biosteel.ca/OUA for more info. What a great week it has been of basketball, of celebrating basketball. Why don't we start first with the semifinals on the women's side? We've got to get right into it because we've got a great interview coming up. Both games took place in Ottawa this weekend, and both home teams took home W's. Windsor Lancers traveled to Ottawa to play the GGs, and they saw their fantastic season come to an unfortunate end as they lost 81-53. Bailey Russell poured in 20 points in just 25 minutes for the GGs as they held Windsor to less than 30% from the field. Tough time for the Lancers to go cold. They also went just 8 of 20 from the free throw line. All in all, Ottawa controlled nearly every facet of that game, and they roll into the Critelli Cup finals looking really, really good. But they'll have to go up against their old nemesis, the Carleton Ravens. The Ravens beat the TMU Bold 76-60 last weekend in a game that they controlled from the beginning. Carleton scored 32 points in a ridiculously hot second quarter, and they took a 22-point lead into halftime. TMU was able to chip away in that second half, but things never really got back under control for the Bold. Jamie Foreman put up 22 points for TMU as their season comes to a disappointing end. 5 Ravens hit double digits on the score sheet. Jacqueline Urban leads the charge with 17 points and 15 rebounds. Carleton humming on all cylinders right now. You got two teams at their absolute best clashing in the Critelli Cup final. We'll talk about that a bit more after our interview. Over on the men's side, TMU also suffered a disappointing performance in the semifinal, losing to Ottawa 89-56. The GGs raced out to a 27-9 lead at the end of the first quarter as they made 9 of 10 field goal attempts to start the game, and they just kept marching from there. You tack on 30 points in the second as the threes started to fall, and overall shot 56% from deep in that game. It's impossible, or almost impossible, I should say, to beat Ottawa when they're shooting like that, and TMU just wasn't able to keep up. Rough weekend for the Bold basketball program, but still 2 great seasons that they should be very proud of. In the other semi, Ontario Tech continued to give us everything we could have asked for from this Cinderella run, but in the end they came up tragically short, losing to Queens 64-62. 2-point loss. Lucas Silas has the massive and 1 play for Queens with just 8 seconds left to swing them from being down 1 to up 2. And the last chance 3 for the Ridgebacks does not drop. It was a defensive struggle in this one. Both teams sort of struggling from the field. But in the end, Queens pulls it out. Ontario Tech has to be thinking about the fact that they missed 10 free throws in a 2-point loss. That is a heartbreaker. But you know what? Give them the wildcard berth, I say. I want to see the Ontario Tech Ridgebacks in the Final 8. I think they have earned it. Another thing we got to talk about, we have some awards that were given out by the OUA. A lot of amazing seasons that we have been talking about all year long. We'll start on the men's awards with the Player of the Year, Aaron Rooms of TMU, friend of the show, Aaron Rooms, who had a phenomenal season. A massive congratulations to Aaron. That is very, very well deserved. Your Rookie of the Year is Ollie Engen from Queens. Your Defensive Player of the Year is Jacques Melanie-Guatmata from the Ottawa GGs. Your Ken Shields Award winner, that prestigious award goes to Ishmael Hassan of Guelph. The Champion of EDI, another very important award, goes to Aaron Tennant, also of Queens. And your Coach of the Year was Ryan Thompson of Lakehead. A fantastic season for the Thunderwolves. Very, very well deserved for Coach Thompson, who has really built something special at Lakehead University. Your all-OUA first team consisted of Aaron Rooms of TMU, Nate Balamu of Lakehead, Dragan Stajic of the Ottawa GGs, Ollie Engen of Queens, and Noah Otshuti of the Western Mustangs. 3 of the 5 of those first team members we had on the show this year. A big congratulations to all 5 of them. And I also got to give a shout out to friend of the show, Lucas Silas of Queens, who was second team all OUA. You come on the OUA Basketball Show, there's a pretty good chance you make all OUA. I don't think that's a coincidence. That's something to keep in mind if you're a player watching next year and you get a DM from me. Moving over to the Women's Award, we'll start with the Rookie of the Year, which went to Brooke Hussey of the Queens Gales. A phenomenal rookie season for her. Congratulations to Brooke. The Defensive Player of the Year was one of the Waterloo Warriors, Nahida Oko-Obo. A fantastic season for Nahida and for all of Waterloo. I'm really glad to see them getting some recognition. Joy Bellinger Award, a very prestigious award, went to Renee Armstrong of Guelph. Congratulations to Renee. The Tracy McLeod Award went to Ali Smith of Queens. The champion of EDI went to Vanessa Budimunda of the Windsor Lancers. Congratulations to Vanessa. And your coach of the year went to Danny Sinclair, the head coach of your undefeated Carleton Ravens. That all OUA first team went to Mackenzie Weinert of Brock, Natsuki Suzokin of Ottawa, Jacqueline Urban of Carleton, Kaylee Hall of TMU, and Jenna Button of Western. And of course, got to mention it again, 4 out of those 5 players were on the OUA Basketball Show this year. And that's a little spoiler for our interview that we have coming up in a moment here. And the all OUA second team got a shout out Kiara Leverage of York, who was a guest on the show this as well. We had a great chat with Kiara. Go back and check that out if you missed it. You may have noticed, Griffin, you didn't say who the player of the year was for the women's. Well, first of all, you should know that. And second of all, that's because I was doing a dramatic tease of who our guest is going to be. Our guest today is the back-to-back OUA player of the year from the Brock Badgers, Madalyn Weinert. And my guest today is a big one, folks. We've been waiting for this one all year, but now it's official. She is the back-to-back OUA Player of the Year, Madalyn Weinert of the Brock Badgers. Madalyn, thank you so much for coming on the OUA Basketball Show.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you back. You were back in Season 1, and you're coming to us today fresh off a midterm. You said it went pretty well, though?
Yes, yeah. Hopefully it went pretty good.
Okay, that's the student-athlete life right there. Madalyn, why don't we start with the big headline that was announced this week? You are a back-to-back OUA Player of the Year. That is an incredibly rare club to be a part of. What does that mean to you to hear that out loud? Has that sunk in yet, just what an incredible accomplishment you've achieved here?
Yeah, I don't think it's quite sunk in. I think it's just like, for me, it's always just thinking about like the gratitude I have surrounding it all. Knowing that like it's yes, my name gets put on it, but it's not only a reflection of me. Like it's such a reflection of not only previous coaches, but obviously the current coach, what we've had, my teammates who have been there, lots of them from the beginning, which is a tough break going into next year with lots of them graduating. But like it's just such an amazing opportunity that I've had with these girls, with the coaching staff, to build these relationships. And it's just like, at the end of the day, it's not only about me, it's about whatever everybody's done to help me get to where I am.
That is a leader answer, and that was the one I expected to get from you, because you are, of course, surrounded by a great coaching staff and a great team, but you are also a great player. You had such an incredible season last year. Of course, you won the Player of the Year, and then you came in this year, and to my eyes, you were somehow even better, which didn't even seem like it might be possible, but you truly were spectacular all year long. What drives you? Because I know if I won Player of the Year, I would put my feet up. I don't have the athlete's mentality. I would say, that's it, I'm good. But you are not satisfied. So what fuels you? What keeps you going?
Just knowing that now there's a target on your back. And so like every year you have to be that little bit better to be able to get yourself open. And not only is it about getting me open, but if I'm able to draw those people and realizing that if I have 2 or 3 people coming to me, somebody's got to be open. And then that means facilitating for my teammates. And that's just every year I've got to be better so that I can make them better. And then we can do better as a program.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you talk about making your teammates better. You're surrounded by a bunch of talented players. And as a result, the Brock Badgers had another phenomenal season. You guys went 16-6. You played hard fought playoff games. We're a couple weeks removed from the end of the season. Now, as you look back on the 2024-2025 Brock season, how do you think about it? What's like sort of the headline in your mind for you?
Just growth. Honestly, it's change and growth. Like we went through a coaching staff change this year, and it has just been so much learning, so much like just new. And I think that that has been handled overall really well. And I know for like even me that would there was points where I was low, like it was a struggle. But I think just like coming together as a team, we grew together from the UBC game to that final TMU game. We could just see the tangible difference in like our basketball IQ, our knowledge, just the way we were moving with each other on the floor. And I think that was just such a huge like takeaway for me is like, going into next year now we have the whole summer with Coach Shea. It's going to be, we can build on lots of those principles and continue going and continue moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about a couple things there that I want to touch on, but you brought up feeling low. I think every OUA season, no matter what team you're on, has its highs and lows. When you do get to some of those lows, how do you pick yourself up off the mat? How do you keep going?
I think we got kind of lucky because we kind of hit a lull going into the Christmas break. So it was like we got a month to just sit back, reset, and then get right back to work, get back in the gym, make sure we're just fine tuning some of those differences while we had the time.
Right. And you also talked about the coaching staff there. This is your first time going through a coaching change in your OUA career. It was your first year with Coach Shea. Can you tell me about like some of the differences, what that is like as a player having to adjust to a new head coach and a head coach who was recently a rival and is now your head coach? What was that first year like?
It was so good. Like it challenged me in so many positive ways. It was a learning experience, truthfully, and change happens everywhere you go. Nothing is stagnant, and it was just so good to firsthand be able to be a part of that and know that we've laid a foundation now for years to come for the program to continue building, which was a really neat experience. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun while we were doing it.
That's great. That's key to the culture, I always think. We talked about some of the big picture stuff. I love talking about that, but I also love talking about rebounding. And I don't think there are many people better to talk to about rebounding than you. You were already a excellent rebounder, but this year you took it to another level, averaging almost 12 rebounds per game, which is crazy. Tell me about your approach to that this season, and did it feel to you like your rebounding had taken another step like the numbers said it did?
I think it's just every day, just being willing to fight. At the end of the day, rebounding is something that is just like, just go you do what's asked, and then whoever gets after that ball quickest is like a lot of times what ends up being the person who ends up with the ball. I think that a big thing to factor in is that Tito unfortunately was hurt for the second half of the season, which opens up a lot because
she's not hogging all the rebounds anymore.
No, but we would have loved her to hog them. But
yes, no,
unfortunately,
I know.
Situations occurred, and so that kind of opened up a need for some more boards to get taken. But yeah, it's just tenacity. Whoever, like, just go.
Just go. I like that. I'm going to start adapting that next time I'm playing in the park. I'm going to go more. One thing I noticed about you, and anyone who follows you on Instagram will notice this, you're posting a lot about other teams at Brock, specifically the volleyball team, but you have really emerged as seemingly a leader in the Brock Badgers athletic community. I was just wondering if you could just touch on like what it means to you to be a Brock Badger, what that sort of world means, and Brock University as a whole, how much that part matters to you.
Oh, it truthfully means the world. Like sometimes I think about it and I don't even have the words because like my gratitude runs so deep. Like being someone who was born and raised in St. Catharines, it was not like necessarily, we weren't the people that were always at the games or anything. When I started playing a little bit more, we would go, but being in the culture has been like so much fun for me. I've had the pleasure of being on the athletic leadership council as well, which has been so much fun just to meet new people, get involved. And I think something that's been really neat for me that like has beyond what I thought was the impact you can have not only on within the department, but like within the community. Right. And it's such a blessing the people I've been able to meet, engage with, the BFIT, so there's a BFIT center across the street at the Canada Games Park, which is like a functional inclusive center for older individuals. And I had the privilege of having a placement there. And every twice a week, every time I walked in, oh, look at your game. We were watching like, and it's just like been such like a point where I've been able to bring people together.
Right.
surrounding such a fun environment. I love being able to support other people in what they do. We're so excited for the OUA finals tonight. The tickets sold out in 3 minutes and I didn't get one. And I was like, I'm about to cry. Somebody needs to find me a ticket.
Yeah,
It's just
you might have a way to get in, I think.
yeah, it means the world to me to have people support me. So how do I repay that? And I'm so fortunate that I play a sport that's so public. Whereas like some of the others, like behind the scenes, the wrestling team the rowing team, like these are teams that win big awards, but not necessarily are in the forefront of the OUA, and they just work so hard every day. And I just love being able to get to U Sports Nationals was held at Brock, get to the OUA rowing that's held down in Port Dalhousie every year. Like I just love being able to support those teams because they do work so hard.
Yeah, well, that is an incredible answer. It's something you're clearly passionate about. I'm glad I asked about it. Just before I let you go here, Madalyn, because it's a busy time of year for you. Obviously, you got to get ready for the volleyball finals tonight.
Yeah.
Is that you have announced that you're going to be returning for your 5th year of eligibility. I'm sitting in Toronto right now, but I think I just heard the cheers come out from St. Catharines once again, as everyone is no doubt thrilled to hear that news. You could have very easily ridden out into the sunset with back-to-back players of the year, one of the great players in Brock and in OUA history, but you chose to come back for a 5th year. I would imagine maybe what you're just talking about with your love for Brock University becomes a part of that, but what drives that? What keeps you coming back for a 5th year? What's the goal for next year? Is it a 3rd player of the year trophy? Is that what's driving you?
Honestly, yeah, being a part of the community, it's like I always say, like I have a really late birthday, so like I'm not like I'm still young, and got to figure out what I'm gonna do exactly. And I think having another year with Coach Shea, I'm super excited to be able to have one more year. Like we had our year where it was all new, and now we know exactly what we're doing, so we're hitting the ground running. I'm really excited for that. I just knew I wasn't going to be done. I love the summer workouts. I love just playing. And so I knew that once I was done at Brock, that would probably be the end of basketball. So I wasn't quite ready to give up, knowing I had that year of eligibility. And I mean, we're going to have the best season possible next year. That team wise, that's what we're gunning for, is to be contending for that OUA championship, national championship. That's big on the forefront of what the goals are for next year. Absolutely.
Well, on behalf of all the fans that love getting to watch you every week, we're very grateful that you made that call. I can't wait to watch another season of Madalyn Weinert and the Brock Badgers. Madalyn, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again to Madalyn for coming on the show. Great to talk to her. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. Loved getting to hear her opinions on Brock University and everything else. And that brings us to discussion of the finals. It is Queens versus Ottawa for the Wilson Cup, and this one is going to be a doozy. The GGs won both of the regular season matchups, but the Gales were without Ollie Engen for one of those games. In his other game against Ottawa, he went 10 of 15 from the field for 23 points. So let's see if he can make a big difference this Saturday, the first year with some pressure on his shoulders in the biggest game of his OUA career so far. Queens averaged 19 turnovers in those 2 losses to Ottawa in the regular season. They also turned it over a lot against Ontario Tech last week. I mentioned that one was a bit of a defensive struggle. So they're going to have to hang on to that ball, and you're going to have to chase Ottawa or off the line, I should say, as well. A lot to think about when you're playing the GGs, a lot to take care of, and that's why nobody has been able to beat them literally in months. But if anyone can do it, it's this Gales team led by Dragan Stajic, and just phenomenal talent top to bottom. I should say the GGs are led by Dragan Stajic and have phenomenal talent top to bottom. So do the Gales. This one should be a classic. And over on the women's side, you want to talk about a classic? I got a classic for you. The undefeated Carleton Ravens, the 2-time defending national champions, are going for history as they play host to their arch rivals, the other best team in the OUA, the Ottawa GGs. What is better than that? I can't think of anything. Carleton obviously won both regular season matchups this year and held the GGs under 60 points in both games. No one player who really stood out for Carleton across the 2 wins, because that's just the way they play. They have so many different ways to beat you, and they showed the GGs so many different looks this year. In one of their 2 wins, they took 32 threes. In the other one, they took 7. In one, they had 30 points in the paint. In the other, they had 10. So many different things that this Carleton team can throw at you, but you know that Ottawa is going to be ready for all of them. They are very well coached, a very intelligent basketball team, and they are going to be ready for anything Carleton has to throw at them. You love it when you get to see the two best teams in Ontario meet for a third time. That's always really special, and this one is worth everything. The Critelli Cup on the line. It doesn't get any better than that. Make sure you check out both of those games on OUA.tv, or if you're lucky enough to be in Ottawa this weekend, go to both. As soon as that women's game ends, hop on that OC Transpo, go from Carleton to Ottawa and watch the men's game. I can't think of a better Saturday night in the fair city of Ottawa than that. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks again to Madalyn Weinert. My name's Griffin Porter. We'll see you next week when we're talking about some champions.